StarWear is one of the most beloved features CIG has shown us, mixing armor with clothing and building a character that looks like yours instead of somebody else's. My last video was about how Star Citizen wouldn't be classless. I whine like a bitch about it because I hate where it's going and what armor sets lead to. That video didn't do well at all. A lot of you pushed back in the comments, and I probably should have expected that, but I didn't. Quick note before I make my case, it's okay to disagree with me. As long as you keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste, I appreciate when you challenge me because it leads to better videos like this one. You were right about parts of my last video. But what's coming with StarWear is worse than either of us was arguing about. We stumbled into a bigger issue that I never really considered until now. Let me start by being fair, the pushback was right about how the game works today. Sanctred and others pointed out that everything I described as a problem is actually how a classless system works. Today in April 2026, you can wear whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can change your gameplay loop without penalty. The classless framing accurately describes the current state, and it seems like it would describe the future state too. But today isn't tomorrow, and the systems being played right now aren't the systems being built, and there are some significant ones missing that change that equation entirely. The comments helped me see something I was reaching for but didn't articulate. And let me give credit where it's due. A commenter named TheDarkWiiPlayer said it better than I did in the entire video. He pointed out that specialization-based gear doesn't add player choice, it actually removes it. His exact words were, where before you had 10 helmets to pick from, now you have 2, and you've gained nothing as a player. That's the part I was trying to get at, and I really couldn't do it. Look at the heavy armor adoption right now in the game. Players are running heavy armor almost exclusively. Most people don't care how it looks, they wear it because it's optimal for the gameplay loops everybody engages with. Nobody's forcing them to do it either. Medium and light armor still exist in this game. There's no death penalty driving it either because with tier 0 item recovery, right now death has never meant less in Star Citizen. Yet everyone is already playing with optimization pressure when the stakes are low. Now, think about what specialization adds to that. Today you can pick any helmet because they're all functionally equivalent. Tomorrow, you have a mining helmet that gives bonuses, a combat helmet that improves aim stability, an exploration helmet with better life support. Most helmets become measurably worse for any specific activity. Sure, you can still choose to use any of them, but of course you'll select the same 2 everybody else does because the math forces you there. The other 8 helmets don't disappear from the game, they just happen to disappear from your decision making. And I know some people are thinking that's not how people are going to play. But I'm not pulling this out of my ass, there's 30 years of MMO player data that drives this. World of Warcraft is the biggest example, talent trees marked as customization. But within days of any patch, the community published spreadsheets ranking talent point allocations by DPS output. The optimal build got canonized. Anyone running a different build couldn't get into raid groups because they were playing suboptimally. Players didn't have 10 ways to play their class, they had maybe 2 at best. WoW's the biggest MMO in history, so the patterns that emerged there set the template for everything that came after. Whatever system the game ships with, the players reverse engineer the optimal configuration within weeks. The freedom marketed at launch becomes meta optimization within months. It's completely unrealistic to think Star Citizen is going to be different. Right now we have people that do extensive testing and put out videos literally the day after the Evocati patches go live with the results. We're going as hard into spreadsheets as EVE Online, and our game's not even built yet. But here's what makes Star Citizen uniquely different. Death of a Spaceman. WoW didn't have permadeath. Every MMO with optimization pressure had it without account level consequences. Star Citizen is really the first game I can think of trying to combine deep specialization with meaningful permadeath in a game where players have invested years and significant money into their characters. As far as I'm aware, that combination has never been tested. Most MMO players are PvE oriented. Again, we have 30 years of data that proves this. Star Citizen is asking those players to operate in a system that doesn't let them play the way they prefer. CIG's been adamant there's not going to be a PvE server for this game. There's no opt-out if you hate the idea of forced PvP. Every other MMO has let most players choose PvE if they want to. WoW eventually moved to PvP opt-in via War Mode in 2018 because most players weren't choosing PvP servers. EVE Online is the poster child for PvP everywhere, and it's also the canonical example of how that environment grinds casual players down. In Star Citizen, you're in a PvP situation whenever another player wants you to be. The hauler running cargo doesn't get to choose peaceful gameplay all the time. The miner working a rock doesn't get to choose peaceful gameplay exclusively either. If a pirate decides to engage, you're engaging whether you wanted to or not. That changes the optimization calculation completely. In a game where PvP is opt-in, suboptimal builds only hurt you in the scenarios that you choose. In Star Citizen, they hurt you all the time because PvP finds you in every scenario. The fashion choice that costs you 10% combat effectiveness costs you that 10% when you get attacked doing your peaceful activity. Not only when you choose combat. In that world, not wearing a chest piece because you want to wear a jacket is a potential lethal choice. Which brings me to why I care about this beyond the academic argument. I'm one of the players with significant money in my account. So are a lot of you, I'm sure. And when you've spent more in this game than you'd like to admit, protecting your character becomes rational behavior. PvP, and specifically unwanted and uninitiated PvP, creates threats. Death penalties create permanent costs. Other players will rejoice in hunting you in your account because they're already doing it now without any real reward. Optimization pressure that already exists gets accelerated by the investment we've all made. You're not really free to wear clothes then. And you're not free to pick suboptimal gear. You're not free to play the way you want, essentially. You're free in name only. Other players will exploit your suboptimal choices, the game will punish you for them, and you have too much invested to absorb the cost. I wear clothes in the game right now because that's gameplay for me. Immersion is what I paid for. But I can already see the math turning against me. The specialization gear gets better, and as death penalties start to scale up with Death of a Spaceman, the cost of keeping my immersion choices goes up too. At some point, the cost becomes too high to pay, and I have to choose between the character I want to play and the unique look I want to have in the verse and the account I need to protect. CIG marketed a game where I could be anyone. They're building a game where I have to be optimal. Those things can't both be true. One of them has to give. There's a potential fix. TheDarkWiiPlayer's same comment suggested it. Instead of strictly tying items to class archetypes, just give them supporting capabilities. His exact words were, instead of you mine 20% better, make it so that you have like 20% more oxygen. That's useful for any kind of gameplay without locking you into a specific item set for a specific activity. That's a real solution. Universal supporting capabilities preserve choice while still adding depth. Players get to invest in better gear over time, and specialization still rewards effort. In that system, the math of the game doesn't punish you for picking the helmet that fits your character's identity. And his suggestion got me thinking about another approach. What if every piece of clothing or armor could take a single modifier during the crafting phase? Something that gives a small benefit but not enough to be game-breaking and still allows customization. Both of these options could work. CIG could choose one of these paths, but they haven't. The systems they're building lock items to rules, which is the exact pattern World of Warcraft used. For my part, I'm going to wear clothes for as long as I can. I'll take the suboptimal choice because the immersion is what I love. I hope I'm wrong about this, but even if you think I'm wrong, I want to hear your take. The conversation we started in the comments in the last video is the reason that this video exists. Let's keep it going. Big thanks to the 1099 Alpha Citizen org for a discussion on their Discord last night. They helped me frame this argument better and gave me perspective that I just didn't have. And if you want to play with a chill group that knows the game, I really suggest that you check them out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.